On approval, any questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. And the committee of the whole for April 25th for receipt.
Move. Second.
And receipt then, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. We had a number of recommendations of that committee. First of all, on Beckton Drive to allow on-street parking on the north side in accordance with the report, and then also one additional spot on Beckton Drive west of Deerwood Place.
Move.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried.
One more.
Couldn't believe that.
Council procedure bylaw for amendments that were considered at council. We're going to discuss those later on. So first, for recommendation to go to first, second, and third.
Move. Second.
And all those in favor?
I just wanted to say, and good work to the deputy clerk
Yes.
for all that work she put into that and cleaning up that stuff. Because it'll help us.
If you don't have good procedures, you're kind of lost.
Yeah.
And I noticed it has been advertised in the paper. So, all right. So that's going to be discussed momentarily, and then finally, recommendation that $1,000 be provided to the Potlatch 6767 event.
I move.
Second. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Councillor Russell.
Well, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I didn't have my hand up.
Councillor Swift.
Okay. I love you supporting this motion, and I feel I need to offer the explanation that I offered last week, because I believe in the truth and reconciliation, and that it can be achieved in lots of ways, including education and relationship building, and I think those are the strong cornerstones of that process. And I applaud the Everson's family efforts in this regard. I recently attended the blanket ceremony, and I believe one of the Everson girls was in charge of organizing that, and it was fabulous. And I'm pleased to support this event in kind by volunteering in any sort of way that they offer. As we all know, we don't have a grant in AIDS fund, and I believe that this is frustrating on occasion, but there's also some wisdom in this policy. Given there are so many worthy causes in our community, it's extremely difficult to select which ones to support with our taxpayers' money. So it is true that the amount of $1,000 can probably easily be found within our budget, but it's not the amount, but the principle that is at stake in this matter. So to this end, I will be voting against this motion.
Thank you for that. Any further discussion on it? Councillor McKinnon.
Yes, I indicated at the previous council meeting that I believe it's important for the town to demonstrate that we, on behalf of our citizens, support reconciliation. This is about the potluck, which is, I think, important to send that message as well. It's a small token financially, and I think it needs to be said that we don't have the gaming resources that the city of Courtenay does. Therefore, that would explain our financial contribution that's been forwarded. But I think it's important that we make this gesture as a town. And I don't think there's anything more to be said there. I think it is an important gesture. And it may be seen as just a gesture, but that's fine. I think this is an important, once-in-a-lifetime thing for our town to do.
And I'll just add quickly here that the CAO and I met with Mark Stevenson, who's the Comox First Nations lawyer. We met with him on Monday, and we are working on a council meeting, and his agenda possibly as early as the 23rd of this month. So stay tuned on that. We'll know more here shortly, but that will be obviously part of that process.
Yeah.
I guess further to what Councillor Swift had to say is, I always find these kinds of things troubling, and it's not the cause. The causes that come are always very good causes, but this is not our money. This is taxpayers' money. It's the public of Comox's money, and we don't know how they would want to donate their money to any specific cause. I have mine. Everybody has theirs. I don't think it's our place or our purpose to donate money to causes, whatever they may be. And so I always have trouble with this, and I was very glad to see when we put a policy in that we didn't do this. I think these are the kinds of things that if citizens want to get involved and donate money, then that's up to them to do. I don't believe it's our place to do that.
And I'll let you go on this side.
And on the other side, given the history of 6-7/67,
I feel that this is the one opportunity for an exception to our grant and aid. That history has impacted that society for many, many years, and they're still in the process of healing. And I think just by simply acknowledging it, $1,000 is very little, and I think the message is very loud, though, as a result of that $1,000, and I strongly support it.
All right, anything else needs to be said? Go ahead.
Just one last point, and just to counter Councillor Grant's point, that I see this as being more than just an exception of grants and aid. This is building a relationship with, really, we want to call it town to nation relationship, and it's one opportunity for a town to do a gesture in this regard, and it's different than a request for grants and aid for a cause. This is a mandate that has been supported and recommended by our federal government, and I think it's a gesture that will be seen very, very positively. And I have no trouble supporting this and recommending that we follow this.
All right, anything further? From my perspective, as I said, I think at the last meeting, I look at this more as a sponsorship request. We do sponsor different events and activities from time to time, including the Shellfish Festival. So I think it's probably worthwhile considering a sponsorship in that regard. And the town of Comox logo will get on the materials that they provide. So I would support on that basis. So, seeing no further hands, are you ready for the question? All those in favor? Any opposed? 2 opposed. Motion's carried. Thank you for your discussion. All right, so we'll move on to the manager report for receipt.
Move. Second.
On receipt then, all in favor? Motion's carried. Anything concern here that anyone wishes to ask? Councilor Swift?
Now that Northeast Comox is underway, let's hear about wayfinding. I understand there's a meeting, so is there any update there?
Yes, there is. We've engaged the services of the consultant. He's working on an initial proposal. We're going to see about 3 different steps with actual implementation of wayfinding within the community by approximately mid-August. So over the next couple of months, we'll see some initial strategies come back, some initial designs that we'll be providing to council, and then with a rollout of manufacturing the signage and installation by summertime.
Right.
All right. All right, good stuff. So when will this come back to council for?
We're probably about 4 to 6 weeks away from that.
An actual presentation?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anything further in the management report? Well, it's not directly related to that. Just a bit of a follow-up. I think to Glenn Mills front here on the way into the meeting, and you may have heard he and his company have a contract from the federal government to deal with derelict vessels. And they have been working on that with feds, and they're making some good progress. He says there's as many as 5 of them out at Goose Pit, and of course there's some in our areas too. So I did encourage him at some point in the future when he's made some progress on that to come tell us all about it. So it's good to see that happening on the ground. On the what? On the ground. Yeah. Depending where the boat is. All right, so we'll move on to bylaws. Council procedure amendment bylaw for first, second, and third reading.
Move. Second.
Any discussion at this point? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. And here we are, beginning May, for the financial plan and tax rate bylaw. So our staff have brought that forward to us for consideration of first, second, and third readings of both of those.
Move.
And we'll do the financial plan bylaw first.
Sure. First move. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Anything further you wish to add, Director of Finance?
That's fine.
All right.
I did have one question, but it's about tax exemptions.
Yes?
What's the status of St. Joseph's?
It stays the same for this tax year as it was in the previous year. They have to have, I know this discussion between St. Joseph's BC assessment trying to redefine it, but those definitions have to be in by October 2018 to affect 2019 taxes, so there's no change right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, as you can see, they're using it for a television series.
Exciting. It's amazing.
So just to remind everyone on council here, it's in the report, but this financial plan talks about a 2.43% overall increase in all classes except for utilities and business. Utilities are set at a $40 per thousand assessment. Class 6, which is business, rates have been set to include a 1.4% increase in taxes, which is in keeping with our policy statement that our commercial tax rates will be 1% less as an increase. All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. And for the tax rates bylaw, similar for second and third reading.
Move. Second.
All right, and that's been moved and seconded. I take it that once this is approved or at some point is adopted, we'll get, or do we have it in here, the sample increase for the average house? Is that this material or is that coming
We'll
here?
be bringing that forward.
Okay. All right, sounds good. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. So I understand we'll have to have a special meeting of council, are you talking about in advance of the committee of the whole? or-
Yes, we will be next Wednesday, just prior to committee of the whole.
So in order to adopt the budget be for May 15th. All right. That's good. Good work, staff, getting that all together. So I think the next item is new business, and that is the plenary report for the extension of the downtown revitalization program with related bylaw amendments. And I'm not sure, is there a staff member to speak to this, or is it?
Planner should be here.
Okay. Did you want to speak to it in advance, or?
This is just routine at this point in terms of adjusting the dates to allow for a one-year extension of the downtown revitalization program.
Right. All right, any questions from members of council?
First reading,
Second that.
All right, so to give first reading to the revitalization tax exemption bylaw, any discussion? Go ahead.
Just a question to refresh council's memory in regards to the commercial on the ground floor as retail requirement expectations. That's tied into our bylaw. Is that'll continue on Comox Avenue and up Anderton? The reason I'm bringing up the question is the long term is what if they have difficulties in finding rental space for retail? Has that been any consideration been given to relook at that?
Well, this bylaw and this program focuses on the downtown core, on a very specific area.
Which is Comox Avenue and
No.
extending up Anderton?
No, it doesn't extend up Anderton. It actually only, on Comox Avenue, goes about as far as Simon Cycles.
Kind of like the BIA catchment
Yeah,
area.
the BIA catchment area is what it encompasses.
That it's another bylaw that encompasses up Anderton.
That is reflected in the official community plan itself.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so seeing none, no further discussion, sorry. All those in favor of first reading? Motion is carried. And so having given it first reading and receiving the report, and in accordance with the community charter, council has considered the bylaw in conjunction with those objectives and policies set out in the community charter and its financial plan.
I'll move that. I didn't want to read it all out, so.
All those- Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion is carried. And then we go to second and third reading.
Move.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. And that the Comox planning procedures amendment bylaw be read for second and third reading.
Move.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. All right, so that'll come forward for adoption at the next regular council meeting, I assume. Is that correct? Yes. All right, that moves us to correspondence. And so first of all, from CVAC, they're looking for essentially a concurrence to the reappointment of Richard Clark to their board. And as his term expires.
Yes, I will move that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second that. Richard's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion's carried. And the last item of correspondence is just an email for receipt, and then we'll ask staff to just
I'll move receipt.
Second.
receipt then. All those in favor? Motion's carried. And planning staff can maybe give us a quick update on this. I don't think we've seen the notice ourselves, so it's not up to the neighborhoods.
No, this, we contacted the writer, and the writer was under the misconception that this was for a road reconstruction of Guthrie, similar to what we did on Rock Avenue. We relayed that it was not. It was for proposed development, and the gentleman had no concerns, no further concerns.
Okay, and that's for a 9-lot subdivision at the, that would be, and that's coming to council, is it next week or?
Yes, yeah, it's just went out, was re-advertised.
In 2 weeks.
Today.
Yeah.
So it comes out on the 16th.
On the 16th, okay, good. All right, so that's it for the correspondence. Other late items, delegations, reports from members of council. Sarah, Councillor Swift.
Okay. Some of mine sounds like ancient history because I did miss the one meeting. But since I last reported out, I attended the sewer meeting. I believe it's already been reported on. The ABICC conference, the Filbert board meeting, and I must say the discussion was lively and lengthy with new board members. But their concert series is being advertised in the newspapers, I'm sure you've seen. And they're gearing up with the Shellfish Festival. And there's going to be a new September event, grazing in the park, to look for. So details to follow. And I worked at Big Happy Days today.
Councillor Arnott?
Yeah, it's been a slow period, but I did get a call from a fellow who was opening a brew pub on Guthrie, and we went and took a look, and looks like an exciting little development he's got there. And with Councillor McKinnon, I was out watching the snow to surf, and partook in a little bit of the festivities afterwards, and it was a good time, a lot of people, and it's a great event that the Royal LePage and the Gibson folks there put on.
Okay, good stuff. Councillor Kengrat.
I also attended the ABICC conference, and I also attended an in-camera sports commission meeting, so mum's the word. I'm not telling you anything about it.
Councillor Marquardt.
Thank you. I attended the solid waste board meeting, which is back in April now, and some interesting points were raised at the meeting because, of course, the conversation still focuses on waste to energy being the better solution or landfill and diversion. Morrison Hirschfield's study has determined that the landfill diversion plan was the most cost-effective solution. However, there are still many around the board table that are still determined that waste to energy is the only way to go. And while 5 directors expressed concern and voted against the motion, it has gone ahead, obviously, with a majority vote. There is in Chester, Nova Scotia, the FCM, Sustain Technologies is one of the companies that is in the race, shall I say, to build a facility here, and they'll be opening it up for tours, so hopefully we'll have a bit more information. Also, as a result of the vote taken at that meeting, the owners of Sustain Technologies will be coming here to give us a little more insight into it. And it is a concern because it's an unproven technology at this point in time, and so hopefully we won't move too quickly. Also, another point that I thought was interesting that should happen at the same meeting is Nanaimo made a report. They were looking for support for their solid waste plan, and their system is entirely different than ours. They are, of course, looking to divert their waste. And in 2017, by that time, they had diverted 68% of the waste. And their target is to achieve a 90% waste reduction by 2027. And they were quite confident that they were going to be able to do that. Now, that is not a waste to energy project. That is simply more diversion, etc.
Right.
Also included in the plan is there's going to be a mattress diversion pilot program. I guess mattresses can get to be a problem in the landfill, and it seems that they are convinced that by taking the mattresses apart, that the material can be diverted and the cost would be minimal. So that's another big project. Also attended the hospital board meeting, and there's a strategic planning meeting for June the 7th. I just had to mention that to my fellow board member. Attended the STAIR Seniors Volunteer Appreciation Luncheon, and something I'd like to share with that. The STAIR Seniors are very, very proud of the fact that their whole organization runs, thanks one, to the town of Comox. It wouldn't be possible without them, but also because everyone is there under a volunteer hat. Whereas in the city of Courtney, of course, they receive all kinds of wonderful financial support from the city. So they're proud of the fact that they don't. Also attended the Northeast Comox Stormwater Management Plan that McElhaney presented, and I saw others there as well.
Oh, yeah, I did too.
I too attended on behalf of Barbara, the Sports Center Commission, and I too cannot say a thing. And McHappy Day. Oh, yes. But I don't have socks.
You do now.
It's not too late.
Yes. Okay, Councillor Kennett.
Just a couple of things, if I may. Going backwards, I attended a homeless coalition meeting today, and a couple of things they brought up that might be of interest is they have and are continuing interest in actively seeking more partnerships for affordable housing. They also expect to host a municipal election forum on affordable housing for those of us that are interested in running again, and just a heads up for that. I think they're going to ask to come and do an update to our council, so I won't go into too much details. And I'm reminded to ask you to complete the vital signs report if you haven't done that. It's online. Also attended the Snow to Surf wonderful event here in our community at Marina Park, a stormwater management public open house, and it's great that we're doing that for our public, and hopefully it all comes together there. And the last thing is a question is that I had in my calendar today that it was the deadline for Freedom of Town nominees, Town of Comox. Have I got that wrong?
We will be talking about that at some point, but there's no deadline.
No deadline. And I'm wondering again about our Olympians and whether they might be considered. So I'll just
Yeah, that's something we'll look at an upcoming meeting.
thank you.
All right, so I'll just report briefly. I attended the Vancouver Island Real Estate Board Commercial Building Awards, and we received the awards for the Twin Sail buildings, both the category award and the top Judge's Choice Award. So those will be installed in those two buildings. And the top 20 under 40 awards also in Nanaimo. That was another great event. And one of our residents, James Floweth of Little Worker Safety Gear, and I can't remember his name of his tree company, but got into the top 20.
Affordable tree?
Yeah, I can't remember. Precision.
Precision, there you go.
And also Courtney resident Chris Trudeau from Halftone Pixel, and also an author, won as well. So good representation of the Valley in the top 20 under 40. And I know as executive judge, and I know you in the past have been regional judge, it's a challenge to pick 20 out of 100 and some odd. But we were well represented there, so Comox Valley. The Northeast Comox Stormwater Management Open House run by McElhaney's, and also had a conversation on the phone with another waste energy proponents from Waste Away Services, which is one of the companies that expressed interest in what we're proposing. So I referred her on to our two reps on that board. You may call it. McHappy Day today, and also, as I mentioned, the meeting with Comox First Nations, Mark Stevenson. So more to follow on that, and yeah, that's all I have to report. So we'll just see if there's anything else here. Any media questions at this time? Any public questions at this time? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move, second.
Meeting adjourned.